Have you told your friends that you see ghosts?
Oh, absolutely not.
Gina Rodriguez returns in Not Dead Yet.
I'm back, baby!
Who is up?
Oh, she's the obituary writer.
And Brad Garrett joins the brilliant ensemble cast.
Titan, Maverick, Titan of all Mavericks. These are all words used to describe me.
Not Dead Yet. Season premiere. Tonight, 8:30, 7:30 Central on ABC. And stream on Hulu.
Listener beware, you're in for a scare. It's time to talk about another episode of Goosebumps. This week, we're talking about episode 2 from season 1 of Goosebumps, which is the Cuckoo Clock of Doom. Great name, terrible episode. So I remembered while I was watching this last night that a couple years ago, I reviewed every Goosebumps book.
Yeah, I haven't forgotten that.
and I, in addition, reviewed every episode. So I thought, for fun, I'm going to real quickly read my review from 5 years ago, and we'll see what if this gives us any insight. So this is actually, even though this is episode 2 of the series, it's book 28 of the book series. So this is my write-up. While doing this, I've seen this pop up on quite a few of the best Goosebump books ever list, and I've even read that this is R.L. Stine's personal favorite book. I will say this much. While it's not my favorite of Stine's, it's very different than all of the books that came before it and has a fairly psychologically deep ending. Michael's about to celebrate his 12th birthday, however, his sister Tara ruins everything. When his father buys a weird cuckoo clock, Michael sees his chance to get Tara in trouble as a revenge for all the times that Tara has gotten him in trouble, and he decides to turn the cuckoo clock's head backwards. When he wakes up the next morning, it's his birthday again, and Michael continues to travel backwards in time. When he wakes up as a 1-year-old baby, he knows that this is his last chance to turn the head back in the correct direction, otherwise be erased from his entire existence. Luckily, his parents go to the antique shop that the clock was first found in. Michael manages to crawl up the clock and turn the bird's head. When he returns to the present day, Tara is no longer there, and the book ends with Michael promising that one day maybe he'll go back to get her. The bad thing. The book is very slow. Michael's super whiny, and Tara is a total bitch for a 7-year-old. The good things. The ending actually pitches a delightfully dark question. Will Michael actually go back in time and get Tara? Most likely not. It raises some questions of what would you do in that situation. Obviously deeper than R.L. Stine probably intended, but what the hell's the point of reading these books 15 years later if you're not going to read into the stuff? The TV show episode. They did a good job of telling a rushed version of the story. It manages to not nearly be as slow as the book, and actually had a couple interesting camera shots. Since there's nothing new there's nothing really to say in relation to this episode versus the book. So this is one of the more accurate adaptations of the Goosebump book. But man, the only reason that this was the second episode was because it's R.L. Stine's favorite book. Because this is not good TV at all.
No, this fucking sucked, dude.
Hey, BKL, just I hate to break it to you, but you're in for a lot of suck as we go through and do these slowly because Goosebumps is not good. It's not entertaining as an adult at all.
The one thing I thought I had going, I was like, okay, this is going to suck, but at least it's 20 minutes, so I'm not going to check the timer. I checked the timer 3 times, and the 20 minutes episode went on, and it was like, oh shit, I got more. I actually had someone that I was supposed to meet with 5 minutes left in the show, And usually if it's like 5 minutes, like whatever, I'm 5 minutes late, it was not worth running late. I watched the last 5 minutes 3 days later.
So I will say one of the few things that Goosebump does have going for it is that sweet, sweet theme song and
Fucking
intro.
love the intro. The best part about it, and I was messaging you guys. Did I message both of you or just Matt?
I can't remember, but you were excited about that dog.
Yeah. When it's ostensibly R.L. Stein's suitcase opens up and briefcase opens up, and all the pages start flying everywhere. This like ghostly G like goes around, and it makes things creepy with the Ernest Scared Stupid music that's going on in the background. Boop, 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 boop.
Which you can hear that song on the Horror Movie Night Spotify list.
Yes. But yeah, the G like crosses over this dog, and the dog gets creepy green eyes, and I was like, oh, this is the best part of the whole fucking thing.
I don't know. There's another part in this thing that's pretty great, and that's the introduction of the word Curge.
Curge?
Oh, yeah. The backward Craig.
Oh yeah.
Craig. You're being real Craig right now.
Yeah, that's jerk spelled backwards, you Craig.
I literally wrote in a note, Craig is such a great word.
At first I was like, as that happened, I'm like, oh, this isn't so bad. And then the next 18 minutes happens, and dude, Michael's friends suck. Like,
dude,
Michael...
everybody in this episode sucks. Like, everybody's terrible. And I think it's hilarious that in your adult review of the book and episode from 5 years ago, you're like, this had some good psychological points to it. No, everybody's terrible. There's nothing psychological about that. They're just mean.
Yeah.
Well, I just mean the very end. I still like the very end where he's like, maybe I'll go back and get her. But you're like, she's gone. He has just wiped a human being out of existence and feels nothing about it.
But that's the thing is, I don't think that that's like a really good. And I don't know. I'm probably going to sound like a real ball buster for this, but I have this feeling that kids shows do need to have a positive moral bent to them, because what's the point of having them consume media if it's not going to try and make them better humans? And so I really don't like the moral of the tale is that, like, he gets off scot-free and gets to not have his annoying sister. Like, I get it, it's wish fulfillment, and at the end of the day, the vast majority of entertainment is wish fulfillment, but I don't know. It just didn't sit well with me. And I also do realize that I'm going real deep into the psychology of a fucking kids show.
Did you hear my review? Yeah. I also went real deep. There's only one way to look at Goosebumps in your 30s, and that is to be like way too analytical.
Yeah.
There is one like dialogue exchange that it was like midnight when I was watching this, and I yelled out loud, "What?" when it happened. But it starts with the mom going, "That's an ugly clock." And then the dad says, "Anthony said that there's something wrong with it, but he didn't tell me what." And he's like talking about how expensive this clock is. And I'm like, wouldn't you use that as a bargaining thing or anything? You're just like, okay, so the clock is apparently broken, but you want that much money for it? All right. Like, no questions asked. And I'm like frugal with I am terrible with my money. I spend it on everything.
Yeah, that's actually the opposite of frugal.
No,
man.
that's why I stopped midway through it. Because I'm going to edit. Well, I was going to edit it, but not anymore because you called me out on it. But yeah, like I spent $40 on Amazon yesterday for nothing. Like, I was just like, I want to read Y the Last Man. So I bought like one of the trades and then was just like, well, while I'm here, and just started like clicking a bunch. I was like, you know what? I was listening to the Phantom of the Paradise soundtrack the other day, and I really want more music by Paul Williams. So let me buy a couple of those albums. Like, it was just shamelessly spending money. And even I would question buying a clock that the person selling it is like, it's broken, but I'm not telling you why. Like, it's like that bitch on Dream Phone that's like, I know who it is, but I'm not telling. Like,
Man, you guys loved some weird ass games from your childhood.
I know. I'm just happy looking at my notes because I was not in the mood to watch it. And I wish someone just came across this notebook because it says, kid in the beginning has the most punchable face. Turns out to be Michael. Then it goes, fuck Michael, man. Getting bullied by a 4-year-old. And then my favorite is just the birthday scene.
oh god,
Dude.
well, because like he's got that one fat friend that's sitting in the corner, not the fat shame of a 10-year-old or whatever, but he's just like, oh jeez, I wonder if it's a CD.
No, Josh, it's a football.
It's like, oh my god, no, they remind me of all of the kids in Sleepaway Camp. Like his friends are just the cast of Sleepaway Camp, minus the cursing.
Oh man, you know how much better this would be if there was child swearing in it?
Oh.
But then you've got like, not like that already is like, okay, that's kind of like his friends are kind of shitty. But then like his sister straight trips him and he murks this cake with his face. And they're just like, so they're dicks. This is supposed to be his friends. They're just like, hey, save some for the rest of us, fatty man. Like, it's,
The thing that got me so angry in this episode it's the only time I think I reacted to this show was when she got him a second time. He went back in time.
And
How do you get hit twice?
Yeah,
You knew it was coming.
he even says in voiceover, it's like, not this time. And all that happened was he fell a different way. Like he still tripped him.
Man, but I will say that the kid's clothes are super cool. He's got a backwards hat, sleeveless flannel shirt, like a sleeveless hoodie underneath it. He is like styling.
He is dressed like Steve Buscemi posing as a child. The other part that made me laugh out loud is when he wakes up and it's now his 6th birthday. And it's like this weird Benny Hill sped up moment of him running from the bed to the mirror. Like, I guess the kid didn't move quick enough, so they just sped up the footage.
Yeah.
And then he does he absolutely does the Home Alone
The Home Alone scream. Yeah.
100%.
And it doesn't, like, the Home Alone scream has not aged well.
No
No
human being screams like that ever. I don't know a single person.
And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I thought that the Home Alone scream was obnoxious in the 90s. So watching this as an adult, I'm like, man, fuck this. Fuck that cultural, that pop culture reference. But also there's a line there when he goes, I'm a 12-year-old mind trapped in a 6-year-old body. And I actually felt very similar because I'm a 12-year-old mind trapped in a 35-year-old body. You ever see that movie Big?
You just never figured out how to solve that shit. That explains why you love boobs so much.
So maybe you guys can answer. Maybe you two can answer my question since you know more about the backstory than R.L. Stein does. Was the guy that asked for the time part of like the clock's evil, or was he just a rapist? Was that a kitty diddler? The guy in like the trench coat that just followed him to the pawn shop?
Yeah. I think that we're overthinking it. I'm pretty sure that it was just to give a sense of urgency to that scene. But he's
also
like
weird. It's also weird that any adult in the world would be like, that 6-year-old probably, like a 6-year-old barely can tell time.
Yeah.
Let alone be like rocking a watch to help you out on the street.
Yeah. Like, let's just say that this is his thought process. He's like, okay, I'm going to ask the kid the time, and then I'm going to ask him to tell me which ones are quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies.
And then the other thing that happens in this episode is he is not able to get to the antique shop to turn the cuckoo clock's head the right direction. So he gets reverted to a 1-year-old. And then we just have to deal with like 2 minutes of some look who's talking bullshit.
Yes. That's
yes.
exactly what it is.
Baby's day out. Look who's talking. Caboodle.
The best part in that entire scene
was when it was over.
Well, that
agree.
too. But the shop owner, for a split second, I was like, is that Otho from Beetlejuice? Like, it was just like this short, fat guy with glasses. But then he's like trying to climb the clock and he knocks over something and it lands gently on a pillow and the baby shakes his head and he just goes, "Oh, you clumsy idiot."
I know, it says, "You clumsy fool." I have that line. Oh.
How long do you think it took to record this episode? Because the guy who plays the dad, you can watch him stop caring and stop trying as the episode goes on.
As his wigs get better?
Yeah.
Hey, you don't know. Maybe they filmed it in reverse and like he actually wasn't into it,
Man,
but
shut the
midway
fuck
through
up.
it was like, man, I'm loving this show. Like,
This is great.
Man, I feel like the wigs were the biggest expenditure on this episode.
well, because like, if you haven't yet, Google what the book cover looked like, and like, this is the laziest fucking cuckoo clock bird.
Oh yeah, I know exactly. I don't have to Google it. I remember.
Yeah, like that bird. For how shitty this book was, that cover is like a pretty well done like drawing. It's just like a very neutral looking bird, and that's going to be the image for this episode. There's no reason to use whatever image we find for Goosebumps. It's going to be the bird from the actual book cover.
I'm going to leave that up to you for perpetuity for these stupid these bonus episodes. Like, I love us. I love our podcast, but it is so hard to get through Goosebumps.
Well,
I do it because
next time we do one of these, it'll be Are You Afraid of the Dark? It's like
I know
you
we're going
suffer through Goosebumps for an Are You Afraid of the Dark?
The Dark fucking rules.
I think you guys both need to Google the Cuckoo Clock of Doom because I remember it being so creepy and well done, and this bird is just like, meh.
That's what I said. He's very like, he's over it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a bird. Hey.
He looks like one of the pterodactyls in the Flintstones, where it's just like another day, another dollar.
It's a living.
God damn! Now I know that I'm definitely in a podcast with guys that are related.
Yeah, he just looks annoyed. Which, I mean, if someone turned my head around, I would be. But
Yeah.
Did you see the new cover though? The new cover, he's a parrot.
Yeah, he's like, yeah.
Would anybody recommend that the listeners watch this episode?
Not really.
No.
No. All right. So, these are fairly short. They're just fun little things for you guys to listen to while you're waiting for the next episode. So this is going to come out before Brian's officially a full-time member, but by the end of this month, Brian will be a full-time member on every single episode. So get ready for that. Prepare yourself.
Hooray.
He sounds about as jazzed as the cuckoo on the front of the book.
And if you just can't get enough of our lovely voices and our funny style and the ways that we make ourselves suffer, don't forget to donate to the Patreon page so you can listen to us suffer through The Wicker Man this month. Yeah,
I'm sorry, guys. Like, I picked that one thinking it wasn't going to win, and I was pretty stoked when it did win, and that was a mistake.
You know what? We'll get into it on that episode, but none of us really presented anything that was worth watching between the three of us. So
yeah, I think that my list for future Patreon picks is getting better every month. As well, the one after Wicker Man is going to be a real close call between the three because they're all going to be real bangers, regardless of which one gets picked. So be on the lookout because, get in on that action. Like, I don't really whore us out very much, but I do think that the Patreon bonus episodes are going to be pretty wacky because they're going to be a lot of sword and sorcery shit, a lot of sci-fi, the most bonkers. It's the most HMN stuff that doesn't really fit our horror format. So if you like what we do but want a little different flavor, instead of the like chunky monkey, you can get the Cherry Garcia.
Wow.
There you go.
I like that analogy.
Well, I like it too because they have vegan versions of both those flavors.
And obviously, you know, Patreon account. It's $1 for the newsletter, and you get to vote on the movies. $5 to actually hear the bonus episode, and then $10 for a video chat with us every other month. And we haven't even talked about it on any of these episodes yet. June 23rd, man, we're doing our 12-hour, you know, takeover. We're going to be on Twitch. There's a lot of things still up in the air about how that's going to work out. So
It might be fucking sweet.
Stay tuned. It could be really, really cool, or it could be more of the same. But the movies that we picked are fucking awesome. So trust us on that. I know we've announced Beetlejuice. By the time this comes out, we also announced Final Destination. I don't know what else we announced at this time beyond that, so that's all I'm giving you. But we will be back in just a couple days with another episode, and I'm almost 100% sure Stephen Bay is our guest on it. He's on almost every episode in the month of May, spoiler alert. Thank you guys, and we will be back shortly.
Boom.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.